The Department of Homeland Security is close to announcing an expansion to the electronics ban on flights bound for the United States. CBS News transportation correspondent Kris Van Cleave is in Washington. Kris, what can you tell us?
Well, Rena, a final decision has not been made, and these discussions are ongoing. But what is taking shape is a widened ban on electronics, basically bigger than your cell phone, being carried onto an airplane for flights bound to the U.S. And what we understand is taking shape is a substantial increase in the number of airports to include major airports in Europe. And airline sources tell us they've had growing indications the expanded ban could include all European airports with flights bound for the United States. And airlines have started to make preparations for what they would view as a worst-case scenario there. There's a lot of concern on the part of the airlines about how this would work. Now, we know that U.S. officials are set to meet with the airlines tomorrow. We do not believe there will be an announcement tomorrow. At least they're not there as of right now. But as we know with this administration, things can change very quickly. But right now, we don't expect an imminent announcement here as the discussions are ongoing. We have learned that federal law enforcement and national intelligence agencies have been involved in these conversations and are generally supportive of a wider ban.
Kris, any sense as to why this is coming now?
Yeah, so these discussions have been ongoing since the initial ban was announced in March. Remember, there is a ban on large electronics being carried onto airplanes from 10 airports in 8 countries in Africa and the Middle East. And the concern really hasn't changed all that much. There is real concern about an explosive that may not be detected on some airport scanning equipment, and continued concern about ISIS fighters who have left Syria and Iraq, come back to Western Europe, have a European passport that would allow them to travel into the U.S. without a visa. The combination of the two is really driving this concern. And that's why the focus, we understand, of these discussions have stayed on the Middle East and Europe. It does not appear that the conversation of a worldwide ban on electronics, per se, has gone very far. But the airlines and the airports are bracing for this announcement whenever it comes. We understand it could be in the next few weeks. And they have some real logistical questions about how this is going to work. And travelers may need to prepare for longer wait times, additional screenings, and some real logistical challenges. One airline source called it a logistical mess.
I'm just curious, Kris, is there any sense of gauging how this might affect travel and flights? Are airlines concerned that this might lead to a decrease in passengers wanting to go abroad?
Well, you know, we have seen a decrease in people buying tickets, decrease in ticket sales from countries that are under this ban, as well as countries that fall under the proposed travel ban to the U.S. We have seen major cities like New York and Los Angeles cut their expectation for foreign visitors after years of seeing increases in tourism. Emirates, one of the airlines that operates routes already subject to this laptop ban on devices coming into the U.S., has announced they are reducing service to the United States because of declining interest. So there is real concern, particularly when you start talking about taking laptops away from business travelers. Those are people who buy last-minute, very expensive tickets, and about half of them, according to the Global Business Travel Association, expect to stay connected the entire time they're flying. So they may not want to take that trip now if they can't work.
Kris Van Cleave in Washington, thank you for this update, Kris.
Sure thing.